Welcome back to the We Was Waddling podcast. I'm your host, Brandon,
I'm your other host, Chanel.
and we are back to talk about the season finale of The Penguin. This was really, really dark for people who didn't watch it. But before we get into that, just remember, those of you who listen to us via podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. I don't know why you would leave us less than 5 stars. So just leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on the show.
Just to get our attention. They do it to get our attention.
You can also watch us live on YouTube. We were recording on Tuesdays, but I think we're moving to Sundays. And maybe another day because, Chanel likes to surprise me with shit in the middle of the day. But we're moving to Sundays to talk about Silo at least, and maybe Dune Prophecy on another
Definitely
day.
Dune. Definitely Dune Prophecy.
So, we got to do
I'm
two
more
shows
excited about
now.
that than Silo, low-key.
Yeah, you tripping. You're going to be mad too. But you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/at We Was Watching. Go ahead and like our our streams. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to let you know when we are going live. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/at We Was Watching. And you can send us an email at wewasdragons@gmail.com. I think we actually might change the name just to We Was Watching now. I was going to be We Was Siloed if you're trying to find us in the next show. But now that Chanel wants to do 2 shows, it can't be We Was Siloed and we talk about Dune.
Maybe We Was Siloed and then we just bring the other thing in, maybe. I'm okay with the Silo.
It might just go to our standard We Was Watching. We'll see. We'll see how that does with SEO. But you can send us an email at wewasdragonspod@gmail.com. We did get an email last week from Lori, quick and to the point. Well, R.I.P. Vic. Damn you, Oz. I guess I'll be watching Silo. Chanel, who knows that people email us to talk about what's on the show, decided to go into the email and read the email before she watched the show.
No, it comes to my phone. So I just saw it. Like the first line was just saw it. So yeah, you're exactly right though. That's exactly what messed me up.
And she spoils herself, but she didn't know how he died. So that'll be interesting.
Ooh, buddy.
Did we get any reviews, Chanel? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. But just as a reminder, guys, like we are it's easy when we're doing shows that like only we are really passionate about, like industry, but with other shows like Penguin or maybe even probably Dune, it's really helpful if you guys send us a review because it will help out the algorithm. So 5 stars on Apple Podcasts because that is the easiest thing to figure out your charting for, by the way. And then also Spotify helps too. But any way that you want to engage is super helpful and appreciative. And then also if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, all those things help to make sure that other people see the show and that we continue to grow because like Brandon said, we have 2 new shows coming up soon. And like, we always have to fight for like search. We have to fight for SEO. So the more you guys like and share, the better. Send this to a friend. But thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. Like Brandon said, we will maybe like move back to Sundays, which would be interesting because we might do it. I think the other interesting thing about Sundays, Brandon, is like if Sundays is when Dune comes on, we might have to pick another day. But in general, we will definitely be streaming in the beginning of the week for you guys to share about our shows. And then other good news, Brandon, is that my schedule is definitely going to change in December to January, so I might have more time. Right now, I might potentially only have class Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh yeah, that's what I had in grad school. Tuesday and Thursday nights. It was all night though. So mine was from 6 to 11.
Yeah, no. It'll be like 2 to 6. That's the plan, 2 to 6. So we'll see. And I'll have other stuff to do, but I won't have class. So right now we can't stream on Mondays because I have actual class, and I've already missed one the week of the election. So I have to be there the rest of this time, or else I'm screwed. But again, yeah, we are definitely reporting live from Dystopia, and I can't figure out which timeline is better or worse, the one we're in now or the one in Gotham. Yeah, it's a really
Gotham's
tough
much
call. I
worse.
really can't call it. You say that, but
I don't
at
think
least
anybody unleashed a dam in any of our cities in the United States.
The levees broke in 2005.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but okay, but so it's happened. And also they have Batman. And if they have Batman, they have Superman. And if they have Superman, they have
Superman's not
Justice League.
there, and Justice League's not there either. They don't exist in
If
this
they have
universe.
Batman, they have Spider-Man. That's
Spider-Man
they
don't exist. No.
They haven't crossed. Oh, but Spider-Man and Venom live in the same universe.
No.
Yes, they do. There's a multiverse situation.
In the movies, they do not live in the same universe.
Did you watch Venom 3?
Yes, it was terrible. But they don't live in the same universe.
I'm actually just guessing because at the end of Venom 2, he got pulled into a different multiverse.
Yeah, then nothing happened. He went back.
Are you joking?
Yeah, because it was a money grab by Sony. Sony's terrible.
Venom 3 wasn't multiverse?
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
So they play with you just to get you to come back and think it was going to be.
No, they showed he showed up in Spider-Man Far From Home, No Way Home, and the post-credit scene, and he went back to his universe after he did all that stuff with Doctor Strange.
That's funny as fuck. Okay. You know what? It's like I would have to go back and just.
No, you don't want to go back and watch any of those terrible Venom movies. None of them are good movies.
Again, Venom is from Detroit, and he is my favorite villain. I don't know what you don't get about this. Also,
he's not a villain.
What is he?
He's an anti-hero.
Do we feel like that's a thing anymore?
Yeah, most people are anti-heroes. In real life, most people are anti-heroes. I mean,
like, is villain and anti-hero not the same? I guess.
No, because a villain a villain is someone who does things for malintent, is a bad person who's doing things for greed or selfish reasons, things like that, revenge. An anti-hero is a person whose goal is to do good. They just don't have a lot of conditions in order to do good, right? They'll do whatever. If anti-hero will kill someone, Venom kills people, right? But he doesn't kill nice ladies crossing the street. He doesn't just kill random people in the street. He kills bad people who he justifies deserves it, right? That's an anti-hero. They'll be willing to cross the line to do what they think they need to do to save the day. A villain is not trying to save the day. A villain's trying to ruin the day. That's the difference.
It seems like the same thing to me. I know you just explained it, but to me, Deadpool and Venom are the same guy.
Yes, they're both anti-heroes.
Like
yes,
people about this is
neither of them are villains.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. Okay, then you're right. But anyway, what I really love is the fact that Venom is like, again, a black man. That's what I really love about it. He is black.
Tom Hardy's a whole white man.
We're here to talk about and Venom is just like Green Lantern is black.
Yes, Green Lantern is black. One of them, yes.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, you're a little delayed. So we'll figure it out.
The fuck? Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna be back on purpose now.
Anyway, while Chanel's getting her setup working again, we are here to talk about the finale of The Penguin. I texted Chanel and I said, this is a very dark episode. Very, very dark. And I had to watch it twice. And it's very dark both times. It's a really good episode. On
That's
IMDb,
fair.
it's one of the highest rated television episodes of all time. Um, this is rated higher than almost any episode of Breaking Bad, almost any episode of The Wire at this point.
Oh wow.
Yeah, nine
They're
point
giving them their
eight out of 10.
they're giving them their flowers.
So it was an excellent episode. Chanel, before we get into the details of it, what did you think of it overall?
Well, first of all, I think Xfinity owes me money back because why the fuck is my my connection always bad whenever we stream? Like I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I promise you I've turned everything off. Secondly, what do I think about it? I think that like this is definitely a good show, but like it's so much. It really is an emotionally overwhelming show. Like I watched it while my friend was here and I was just talking out loud to myself the whole time like I know they're not about to do that. I know they're not about to do that. I know they're not about, and then she was just like completely had no idea what I was really referring to. Um, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm glad it's over because he stresses me the fuck out. That's how I feel. What about you?
I thought it was great. I love the show. Um, I like when shows get dark sometimes. Uh, dark a dark show is not a bad thing to me, as long as they make it work within the context of the story, which this did. So you know, it's one of those things where you gotta take a step back. I thought it was a mini series. I mean, yeah, I thought it was a mini series, a limited series, I should say. But it sounds like they came out and basically said that they're looking into stuff for a possible season two, and a lot of the key players, some of the key players are still alive, so we could get more of a story at that point. So let's get into it. The episode starts with therapy for Francis. They're doing that red light therapy, which apparently is a real thing. Like I didn't know that, but
I
apparently,
told you
like,
it's EMDR.
is what
I think it's called EMDR.
EMDR.
Actually, carry on. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So they're doing the red light therapy, and they're taking her back to the time when right after her boys died. And so this time they showed a flashback of back in the day, but it's like in present day Francis's body because it's like through therapy, which I thought was a cool little visual thing that they did to make it seem cool. And Rex Calabrese comes to the door. And I was like, I was fucking right. I told Chanel, I said, I think Rex is their daddy. And they didn't say he was their daddy, but him being there to console Francis makes me think he their daddy. And so I thought that was interesting to see him show up. And then Rex is like trying to uplift her, like get her back into a good mood. Chanel just came back, but I was telling the people that I was right. That I think when I told you I think Rex was their daddy.
I think so too, although they wouldn't admit it, but I do think so too, because he definitely came up in that house like he paid a bill or two.
And he's basically like, why you let me pay for the funeral? And she's like, why? So people can tell me it's God's will and put tissues in my face. I'm good. Um,
I
and
will say two things there. One is that like it is crazy that he's saying it, but if he is their father, he's still not admitting it in the way he's talking to her. Like he's like, "Oh, let me pay for your kid's funeral." And then secondly, one thing I do think, not to say like, it makes it easier or makes it better in any way, but I do feel that saying goodbye, like having a actual like farewell to your children can be cathartic. And so I feel like she never actually like said goodbye to them. So she just mourned them forever. And there's a reason why people do funerals, you know?
absolutely. Uh, she says Oswald was needy. She never knew how needy though, but she knows what he did. And Rex is like, "What you mean? What he did?" And she walks away. She comes back with the yellow flashlight. She was like, "I found this in his coat that night. He was there. He was down there with them. The people who found him said that they were locked in, so he locked their asses in there." And she was like, "I could have saved him. Like they was down there a long time. I could have went and saved him. He's crazy. He's a psychopath, basically. Oz wanted her all to herself. She's got the devil in her house." And Rex says, there's a couple ways we can handle this. And he does the hand thing. And he says, one way is they can come work for me. But people like that serve a purpose. They're loyal, they're ruthless, they're willing to do anything. If you can kind of contain that and direct it in the right way, it can be really useful to someone in my line of work. Or he can go sleeping with the fishes, essentially is what he said. And
He's wild for like his first thing is okay, either he can be my slave or we can kill this kid. And I'm not saying they shouldn't kill the kid because he did just let two kids die and like this is definitely manslaughter. Like Oz would have definitely been in Arkham. But the way that he did it not trip you out how he immediately was like, well, honestly, I could use him. He could definitely work for me. Like he was really just like, hey, can you let the little sociopath, psychopath come train under me? Okay, no, all right, well then yeah, I'll kill him.
I mean, it is value in that. So she was like, "Hey dog, what you want me to do? Just look the other way? Like what kind of mama would I be?" And she was like, "But that second part, is that something you can help me with?" And then the next thing you know, she's getting dressed up to go to Monroe's again, in her sequins dress. And when they get
Yeah,
there,
it's a setup. This
she
is
tell
set
Oz,
up.
"When we leave here, Rex gonna take you home." And Oz was like, "Yeah, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. I get to ride with Rex." And then Oz goes on to tell her this whole thing. It was like, I miss them. I know you miss them, but I'm gonna make sure everything you get everything that you deserve. Like I see you, like in the way that nobody else sees you. And then she kind of looks away and she kind of breaks out of the therapy and sees Julian and Sophia, and then they get her to go back in. And Oz is like, I'm gonna do everything you
He's
need.
like, no, 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 no. Hey, hey. He literally is doing the like, you're getting very sleepy. You
Yes.
don't see us. And then they fade back in.
And she says he's gonna get her out the east side, get you to a penthouse like the people you see on TV, all that shit. Like basically giving her the whole song and dance. Like it was almost like he was trying to like date her. Like I'm gonna spit
I
all the
told you it's
game.
incestuous. It's emotional incest. Like he's in love with his mother. Or like I almost feel like I don't know if we don't have any context of him at school, but it's almost like that's the only girl he ever really wants to love. And I don't know how much I do think it's romantic, but I think it's more like I don't think it's like sexual. I think it's like he wants to be the man of the house and he wants to be the apple of her eye or whatever, right? But it definitely is like, and we get that kind of cherry on the top at the very end. Like, it's definitely an Oedipus complex for sure. Like, if not textbook.
And then he asked her to come dance. And then we get the title card and they cut the crown point, and Vic is riding in the car with the gangs. And they see all the destruction from Sophia's bomb. They get out. It's a fucking disaster. He comes back and he's looking around for Oz. And the gangs were like, "Well, the drugs is gone. I don't got no reason to be over here. Let's get the fuck up out of here." And Vic's like, "What's wrong with y'all? Like, where's Oz?" And they was like, "Oh, he dead." And so, what's the point? Let's get up on out of here. And he said, and then Vic tries to read them. And he's basically like, "So y'all just gonna let the Maronis and Gigantes do whatever the fuck they want? Like, just come up in y'all hood and take y'all shit? Y'all good for that? What do y'all stand for?" And the one of the white dudes was like, "The fuck you say to me?" And
Yeah, he's like, we could bop over this right now. And it's like the whole point is you're trying to avoid detection from the police, but you're like, oh, actually, I'll shoot you right here. Like pick a struggle, basically.
then Link came up and basically saved his life. He punched him in the gut and was like, shut the fuck up. Like, there's a time and a place. This ain't the time nor the place. We'll talk later.
And mind
basically.
you, and what's important to remember is that Link, like, Link has been the main one who's like, you know what, maybe, like, whenever they throw a crazy pitch at him, he's like, you know what, maybe, like, he knows how Zhao is. He knows he's like kind of old school, not with the new shit. But he's been like kind of convincing me each time. And also when Zhao was like not about to pop his Budweiser, he was like, or his Bud Light. Which one was the gay one? Bud Light. When Zhao was not about to open up his Bud Light, he was like, come on, boss, we can do it. Like, so he's always been with this shit. And I think that's valid for later.
Yeah. And then the dude that was working on electricity, the black dude, came by, was like, it was Sophia. And Vic's like, where the fuck is Oz? And then they cut away. And then that's when we see Oz wake up.
And they're literally like, Oz is dead, baby. Like, we're out. Like, they don't give a fuck. It truly is. Like, Oz just roused up this whole campaign. All the old dudes are like, listen, honestly, it seems like it's over. Seems like our movement is dead. I'm going to go back to the fields now. Like, that's really what they're like. Yeah, this rebellion is past.
Oz wakes up. Sophia is dressed like Morticia Adams. But she got her titties out.
Yeah, she is. It's giving more. It's giving Morticia Adams with her titties out. / like, it's giving like it's. I can't think of the word right now, but like she's giving something that I really do like. Because I think it fits her. Like, I guess I'll just say, until I can figure out how to describe her style, the choices that Sophia is making, it goes back to what she said at the end of the penultimate episode. She said, like, I'm playing this game my way now. And it's definitely, you have that feeling that now, like, she's like, whatever mind games I'm playing, whatever, like, I'm finding out about your mother, like, this is how I want to play the game. I'm not going to do it in this old, like, yeah, it's just like a very much her style. And I actually kind of like it.
She's got an aura. She got an aura to her.
Yeah.
They got her bag. They got Oz muzzled. They got her tied up. They got his mama tied up with tape across her mouth. Sophia starts telling the story about these birds, and the mama bird fed the one big bird more than the other one, so the other bird got salty and knocked him out the fucking nest so that he can get more food, which is like an analogy to what he knows about Oz and his brothers. And she asks, do you think your mom knew? And then I have this scene. It's a long scene, so we're going to stop it while we're going through it. But this was a really good scene.
Would you like to start?
You fucking psycho! What is this shit? Talking about bites?
Bites! Talking about bites.
Jesus Christ!
You don't like my story?
Mom, look at me! I'm gonna get you out of here, I swear to God, man. I swear to God, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Oz?
Mom!
You're right. It was a stupid story. And you have the better one, anyway. So, tell us what happened.
What are you talking? What happened when?
Tell us why you left your brothers to die in those tunnels.
What the hell are you talking about?
Why?
He gonna live with this lie to his grave. It might even be one of those lies, which we'll get to a little bit later, that like I know people in real life where they lied about something so much that like it's been years now, they just don't remember that it's a lie. Like that is like in their mind, they've convinced themselves that was the truth. I don't know if that's the case with Oz.
Well, okay. Well, to be honest with you, I think most people, like thinking about people I know in life who've done terrible things, I actually do think most people do this to some extent where they just like don't believe it or don't want to believe it for themselves. But like deep down they know, but like admitting it would be the worst thing ever. But with that said, I think what's really like, yeah, like Oz is not about to let this out easily. It's like Sophia says in a second, she's like, damn, you would have let your mama fry for real. But I wish I knew, if I knew psychology better, I would explain this better. But basically, like, there's there's probably like a very easy way to analyze this where you're like, he cannot admit that to him because that tears his whole thing apart. Like the whole thing was like he did it for his mom, but the truth is that he didn't do this for his mom because like his mom would have never wanted him to kill his brothers, right? So it's like he can't, like, one lie unravels another lie, unravels another lie. Like he just can't, he can't do this. And so that's what's so like interesting about this character is I don't know if I'm like I always feel like somebody could just like analyze, like if one of those YouTubes that do psychology wanted to analyze him, it'd be so easy because he's doing all this textbook bullshit.
Did you tell your mom you weren't with them? Why did you lie to her?
What the hell are you talking about?
Stop pretending. She knows. I know. We all know what you did.
You done something to her. What the fuck you do to her?
You act like you tell her everything. And she acts like she believes you. Why? Why are you both so afraid of the truth?
Mom!
It's so sick.
Mom!
It's almost as sick as you asking that man to kill your son. Rex, right? Was that his name?
What kind of weird fucking games are you trying to play?
Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Your last night together was going to be here at this club. Right, Francis? Am I right? Was it over there? Where you two danced? Is that where Oz made you his promise? God damn it. Stop. I just want to know. Was it worth it? Fuck you. Did he give you everything that you wanted?
She's been acting her ass off this entire show. This scene was so good. She didn't even have that much to say at this point, but it just, the pain on her face was just like telling us. I was like watching this, holding a fucking pillow. Like, no, I was like trying not to look. I was like, yo, this is so fucked up.
Did he fulfill his promise?
Ma. Ma.
Or do you wish you would have let Rex take him for that ride? What did you lose?
I also like how juvenile or childlike Oz is in this moment, where he's like just calling for his mom.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're all just big kids, but he is, again, textbook.
By keeping him alive. I know what I lost. What he took from me. He deserves to know what he did to you. How you feel about him and how angry you are. Tell him. Tell him.
Yeah.
She spits on Sophia. I was like, yeah, that's my mama.
He's really just like, because there's no way he can accept that there's no way he can accept that like she might find this out or that like she might not love him as a result of it. And so like any hint he gets that like she's still fucking with him, he's gonna jump at it.
Fine. Julian?
What the fuck? What are you doing? Stay away from her! Ma! Don't fucking touch her! Don't you fucking touch her! Don't fucking touch her!
Oz, was it my brother's right or left pinky that you chopped off?
Jesus, no, Sophia!
It was the right.
Hey! Don't fucking touch her!
So they put like this thing around, like it looked like a cigar cutter of some sort around her finger to like threaten to cut her finger off.
God damn it, don't fucking do it!
This was so hard to watch the first time I watched it. I was like, no, like this is excruciating.
Oh, Jesus!
Here's the thing. Just because somebody knows something doesn't mean that they don't need to hear it from the person who hurt them.
Don't, Sophia, don't.
I will never get that from my father. But I'm offering you the opportunity to give it to your mother. She deserves the best. Doesn't she? Oz, doesn't she? So give her your best.
Sophia, don't fucking do it. Just don't do it. She did nothing.
It's very simple. All you have to do is tell the truth. Tell her what you did to your brothers, and tell her why. And then we can all take a breath.
This is fucking insane! I already told you I didn't do fucking shit. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. No, God damn it, no! I did nothing. I wasn't even there. She knows that.
Admit it.
Stop! I wasn't even with him. I didn't do shit.
What is wrong?
She knows. Mom,
Just tell her
she
for
knows.
her sake.
Tell her I wasn't with her. I was with you.
My fucking finger, you
I was with you.
Jesus, just say it. Tell her. I already fucking know.
I love how they cut to Sophia's face, and she's just like, "What the fuck? Like, that's your mama. Like, what's wrong with you? Just say it." And he still won't say that shit.
Because again, like, he'd rather her die loving him and thinking he's a hero than like live on knowing the truth. So that's the fact. Like, and then I also think, to be honest with you, at this point, the fact that she's already talked about wanting to die, I think that maybe he's like, oh, well, you know, Oz has killed so many people, he can think of this being a favor for his mom to die like this. Because again, he's going out like a hero and Sophia's going out like the bad guy.
So then she said that, you know, I already know this shit, and I've known it for a long time, and I hate you, and I've never stopped hating you. And Oz looks confused. And I'm like, nigga, you did this shit. Like, what you confused about? She knew. And Francis said, she had enough to give all three of you. Like, I had enough love for all of you. You didn't have to take them away. Like, I could have been there for all of you. And she was like, she walks up to him. They let her go. And she's like, you're a disappointment to me, a waste of space. I should have let Rex kill you when I had the chance. She breaks a bottle and then stabs at Oz right in the stomach, calls him the devil. And then she kind of goes into an episode and she sees her two dead kids, Oz's brothers, like drenching wet. And then she kind of like has a stroke and just like passes out. And seeing his mama pass out like that just put Oz into a rage where he just
No,
like,
it literally is like, it's like when they say that a mother can have like superhuman strength
Yeah.
to save her kid. That literally is what it is.
and he like breaks the chair, gets through. The guy comes over to him. He stabs the guy with the broken chair, grabs his gun, shoots him in the stomach, then shoots the other guy, grabs his mama, uses a couple things as a shield to get out the building. And then this is the funniest shit of this episode. And then we see the detective, the drug head detective, outside doing drops.
No, that's no, you're right. Because when I was like, this nigga's got caught slipping, and then he surely did.
And the way
And
they
I
shot
think-
this. Oh, go ahead, Chanel.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like my whole thing is my philosophy is John Wick. Headshots, you better walk around like Daft Punk. That's it. Like, we're not doing this whole, because I hate a show where you think somebody's dead and they pop up 20 minutes later and they actually kill you. So I'm like, kill everybody. So the fact that he was like, boom, 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 got the cop too. We don't have to worry about the cop popping up to get me. I really do love that closure. And I hate to say love, that's the wrong word, but like, I appreciated that shot and that scene, and like, okay, like that character's gone. So if there's a season 2, we don't worry about that. And so they really are like, in the way, clearing the board. Because we talked about, when I was watching it, I was again, to my friend who has like no context, I was telling her, like, you know, we tried to predict what would happen, and like by this point I was like, oh, we didn't predict none of this exactly. Like the way it was coming together, I was like, oh, we didn't see part of this coming. And so this is the part where I did start to get really excited, because I was like, okay, like they're setting us up potentially for like a good ending. They're setting us up potentially for a good season 2, for Batman 2, all those things.
Yeah, the way they shot it though was like, you see his face like right after he did drops, and he's kind of like on that high, you know, like people when they first sniff a line of cocaine and they kind of get that like high face. And then you see him get shot right through that eye that he just did drops in. It was fucking perfect. Then he steals his car, the detective's car, and drives away. And so they cut to the hospital. He took Francis to the hospital. He steals somebody's phone to call Vic. And I was like, how are you getting that person an iPhone?
Yeah,
then-
we just some things.
And then Vic was like worried about Oz, and he shows up, and Oz is in this room trying to fix himself up. He starts stapling himself to close the wound that his mom stabbed him at, pouring alcohol and shit on it. Vic shows up, asks if he's okay. Oz tells Vic that Sophia stabbed him, which means he knows he did some fuck shit, and he still can't he obviously not. He didn't want to tell Vic that my mama stabbed me.
Mhm. Well, I mean, because there's too much. There's two things here. One is he still hasn't come to terms with it because he still hasn't said it out loud. I don't know if he says it out loud ever. And then two, he has a point though, because if you were working with me and I was like, yeah, and then I really me and my mom were tight as thick as thieves, and at the very end I was like, oh yeah, my mama stabbed me. You'd be like, whoa. You'd be like, we gotta figure this out before we go anywhere else. How did the person who was riding with you before I was riding with you turn on you? What did you? Because at the end of the day, Oz knows what he is, and his whole conceit is, as long I'm not gonna backstab you as long as I have no reason to backstab you, basically. And so it's Vic weirdly is all right, well, it's just me and Oz against the world. Why would I, I see how he is with his mother. He's just basically separating the art from the artist or something like that. If that makes sense. Anyway, long story short is that he has to hide that because Vic fucks with him, but not to the extent of understanding. And then going back to when we did reveal what happened with the brothers, and I was telling you when Vic was trying to make what's her name Francis feel better about the boys and named them by name, and he was like, oh, don't talk about them. It was doth protest too much for sure. And if this is a side note, this is a serious side note, but Francis is an older woman's name, but what pisses me off so bad in the captions is they spell it the male spelling, not the female spelling. And there's a female spelling for Francis because that's my I know a person, that old person, that name. And so I'm just that bothered me. And if anyone else saw that, then we're the same person.
Okay. That's an interesting tidbit. So yeah, Vic tells him that he apologizes. He couldn't get the gangs to save you. They was on that bullshit. Oz was like, it's not your fault. And Vic says, it's not just about the drugs and money. Guys like Link believe in you. And Oz is like, he's a deputy. The fuck? He ain't got, he don't have no power. And Vic's like, no, shut the fuck up. Listen to me. And he's like, you went to Crown Point. You gave them poor people jobs. They believed in you. You gave them something to work for. You turned the power back on when nobody else gave a fuck, right? These people believe in you. He's basically like, you're the hero. Keep being you. Get yourself up. Get yourself together and get back on your plan. And then Oz is smiling. And he was like, oh, you practiced that shit, didn't you? And they kind of have a good little laugh. And
yeah, he had a great moment because he's training. He's telling Vic, hey, here's the whole point. The point is you become a hero. You're an anti-hero. You do what you got to do to be a hero instead of straight up you're a villain. And I think going back to that debate, we settle that Oz is a villain by the end of this. But Brandon, before we move on, I think I shut down YouTube so that my computer would stop breaking, but we have activity in the chat. So thank you guys so much to whoever's watching. Remember, like and subscribe. Okay, great. So we have a bunch of comments though. Peace back to you, Chakra King Black. The manipulation, narcissistic, psycho, head caseism, classic art of mental warfare. I want to see Sophia Tejada was in the. I want to see Raquel and Sophia was in the Penguin. Great replay. His mom, the flashbacks, and Victor, strategist. Absolutely. Sophia Gigante, my favorite. I knew she wasn't going to die. She's a star. Okay, well, spoilers. She played in Sopranos. She did play in Wolf of Wall Street. Yes. Rocking Black Mirror. Oh my God. So she definitely has that face of she was in everything. Her being in Sopranos though makes so much sense. You on point. Manipulation, gaslighting, playing the victim, all of the above, and more. Family. Thank you so much for everyone who's in the chat. Thank you, Chakra King Black, for commenting. Okay, we can keep going. I just noticed that because I wasn't looking at it at all.
Yeah, I had it. I was about to get to it. But you did my job, which is even better. And so he's like, listen, Sophia's gonna expect a brawl. We're gonna switch it up on her. Flip mode. You don't know about that. That's before your time, Chanel.
Oh my God, I know about Busta flip mode. Yes, he's basically saying, all right, let's be honest. What he's saying is like, I'm down bad. I've been stabbed. I'm mortally wounded. I'm really doing my best. And also, like, she's gonna expect, like, he basically just knows at this point, there's no way I come up against her and she's not fighting for her life at this point, because like they're just at the final end of this battle, which is fair enough. And so I think what's really interesting, the show does get very interesting from here.
So then they go to the Gigante residence, and Sophia has all the gangsters lined up, and she's basically
like she immediately is like, yeah, I blew that shit up. Now you know who's in charge. Come kiss the ring again. So like this whole thing that Oz put all this work into to turn around is like immediately they're back to status quo.
But she says, I'm sick of this. I'm done. I'm leaving the country. I'm ejecting myself out of this toxic environment. But my house, my businesses, my territories, that can all go to one of you. Who won it? And it was like, what kind of bullshit is this, Sophia? Like, what are you talking about?
And you for real.
And she was like, listen, I'm serious. I'm getting up on out of here. But this is what I'm finna do. The first one of y'all who come to me with Oz, you get all this shit. It's yours. And then they cut to City Hall. And he tells Vic to wait in the car, put the gun in the glove compartment. Oz gets a call. Vic gets a call from Link while Oz is walking in, and Link's like, "Listen, I know he's alive, but Sophia put a bounty on her head. We got to do something." At this point, I was like, he's gonna set Vic dumbass up. Like, this is not about to go well. But at least at this point, I was wrong. And then we get Oz in this legislation room, City Hall, and one of the politicians from a couple episodes back that we saw came in, and then we get this scene. I called it Oz's big play.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Oswald, I did what you asked. If anybody sees me in here with you, I'm...
Fuck. Who works? You, come a little closer, Councilman. Nice acoustics in here, but, you know, prefer you not to shout. I don't bite. There you go. Listen, I never got the chance to thank you for helping me out. You know, Crown Point's prettier with lights. But they're pulling bodies out of the rubble down there now. It's fucking tragic. People are pointing fingers, you know? I mean, I guess most of the fingers are gonna be pointed at City Hall. Fuck the man, you know, that kind of shit. And if the voters want answers, sure, it'd be nice to have some, right?
Answers?
Yeah.
And what kind of answers?
Answers like the truth. Sophia Falcone, she said...
The truth. The truth. I love this accent.
Also, I hate how he could just walk in everywhere. I said this all out to my friend. I said he's gotten this far because he's white. Because people will really be like, hey, we should call security. And I was like, whoa. Let me tell you a story. And they'll start talking and I'll just be like, okay, I'll listen to the whole thing. Like, they don't cut him off. They don't make him answer any questions. So he goes, does that sound good? He's like, yeah, kind of. Like, how are you getting pulled into this at this point? The man threatened to cut your tongue off last time you saw him. And he's just like, oh, you got something in it for me? Like, Oz is truly amazing. If he's nothing else, if not a storyteller.
Yes, he's an excellent storyteller. That's a great skill, by the way. That works in real life for a lot of things.
Car full of explosives into the tunnels under the city. Mm-hmm. The damn thing went boom.
And why would she do that?
Because that hole in the ground used to be the biggest drug lab in Gotham. Run by a real smart motherfucker, too. Salvatore Moroni. He's pushing a new street drug called Bliss.
And you know all this? How?
Listen, I try to stay out of these kinds of things, right? But the headline is, It's the same old war. It's the Maronis and Falcones ripping each other off. The Maronis kill Sophia's brother. She goes full cycle. She burns Sal's wife and son to a crisp, blows up his entire fucking operation. I mean, what a girl. I gotta give her some credit.
It's quite a story.
Yeah.
Is any of it true?
Yeah, it's fucking true. When the cops go digging in that hole, you know what they're gonna find? They're gonna find little pieces of Sophia's G-Wagon. And a bunch of dead Falcones and Maronis, including Salvatore himself. It is what it looks like. You know that. Your line of wake.
Wake. I love that word. Do you think that he believes this story in the sense of, obviously he knows Oz has something to do with it, but that he believes like this is what happened, but Oz is just like turning on him to save his ass? Or do you think he thinks Oz is behind all this shit, but the way he's describing it can benefit him being the congressman?
I think that it is definitely might as well believe it because it's what's being presented to me thing. And also like, he doesn't have any, like, there's no real burden to prove this because as far as he knows, the hangman is the hangman, right? As far as he knows, Salvatore Falcone or Maroni is Salvatore Maroni. And Oz is not really a character. So like the idea that you would think all of these things this crazy man just said is all the stuff he did, that's not necessarily going to, you know what I mean? Like that's not going to occur to you. And also that's why evil people are so scary, because somebody who will make up a lie with that conviction, half the time people are like, oh, I believe them. Like, yeah, like why would you lie about that? Meanwhile, he's like sitting up in his like web of lies, spinning this shit up. Oz is. So I think it's,
well, technically everything Oz said was true except
for who did it.
Except who did it,
right?
Yeah, except who did it.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's it's no different than somebody who like it's an informant. It's a rat. In the Where's 21 Savage, just a rat who goes like, oh, they did it, and explains it all, but like leaves out the part that they did. Like that. But the fact is that like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So like the person who comes up and tells the story is the first person to tell the story. It's actually insane. Because I think what terrifies me about it is that this happens in real life. Like if somebody wants to squeal, I'm using mob words. If someone wants to squeal like this, they can, and their story is the first story. And now if she wanted to come up and be like, whoa, I'm not the hangman, Oz knows I'm not the hangman, Oz is the one who did this, and Oz did that, Oz would be like, what do you mean, why would you blame me? You know, like it's diabolical to lie first. That's all.
There's an old thing in pro wrestling, well, it used to be in pro wrestling when they used to have kayfabe, meaning when they used to pretend that, when they used to put on in front of people that it was real, right? So like back in the day, it was always presented as real, right? In real life, people lived their gimmicks. In the locker rooms, when they used to go to the arenas, they'd have a good guys locker room and a bad guys locker room. They didn't have the good guys and bad guys hanging out with each other backstage so that people who work in the arena or people who delivery people or whatever would see them. They didn't travel together, good guys and bad guys, so the gas station attendant didn't see them, right? There was a whole thing of like keeping it up, right? And there was a saying that they used to have, which was, you tell the people the truth as much as you can so that when you work them or when you lie to them, they don't know the difference, right? So like it's, you so in the storylines back in the day, it was truth, like we were telling the truth about each other, what we're saying is true, so that when we work them or when we work in the storyline, the part that's not real, it seems all real, right? So, and that's what Oz does, right? Oz tells his truth, and he's so convicted in it because it's true that you can't tell where he's working you, like where he's inserting the lies to work you, which I think is great.
And this looks like an unhinged, angry broad got out of the loony bin and went on a fucking killing spree. The councilman, look, you got an opportunity here. Give the people someone to hate. And someone to love. Sebastian Haiti. That's the guy who turned the lights back on at Crown Point. Restored people's dignity. Locked up the last Falcone end of the fucking drug war that's plagued these city streets for decades. How does that sound?
Sounds nice.
Nice? You fucking piece of shit. That's the kind of win that you can ride all the way to the top, Councilman.
And in return?
In return? Might be good to feel welcome in a place like this for a change. You know, meet some of those friends you got. Hell, maybe one of these days we'll bump into Bella Real. You know?
You're gonna have some trouble. Oz. Real, she's forming a commission, anti-corruption. They're going after cops, city officials.
Good.
And they have a list of Carmine's associates.
Good.
They're gonna
Love
subpoena
it.
you.
Yeah. He's crazy.
You wanna be welcome? You gotta look clean.
As a fucking whistle. Pal.
As a fucking whistle, Chanel.
He says, hey, we need to clean. He says, good. I love it. Okay, that triggered me a little bit because you know who that reminded me of.
We got a message from Baron that said they probably feel bad for him since he's disabled. So they let him through. Mm-hmm. That was to your comment of how he gets through of things.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I think there's definitely a mixture of things. He's like unassuming. I mean, he is not like a small stature man either, but like, yeah, like he plays it up. I think that, and then we don't know enough lore of like, we don't know why he is the way he is, why he feels that way about his mom, what happened to him. Like, maybe he was just probably born with his ankle thing, but like, or his leg thing. So then, but you just don't know, like, was he always going to be a sociopath, psychopath? And then it turned into this, like, and I'm not actually that interested in understanding it. It's just amazing though to think about, like, okay, here's this person and how he's made his way. And as his mom said, and saying like she had enough love, like he didn't have to be this way. He's not this way because his mom was neglecting him and like, even in that one scene, we got to figure out he wasn't being treated like the kid in the corner and all his family was ashamed of him. Like maybe, I guess what's interesting is to think maybe in another world without the disability, he'd be a CEO. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be the head of what's like the Stark of Gotham? Not Wayne, obviously,
Wayne
but like
Enterprises.
Oh no! Who was in another world? He'd be Lex Luthor. In another world, he'd be Lex Luthor. Like I just feel like
he's a Metropolis, but I get it.
Oh, that's Superman's villain.
Yeah.
Wait, who did Jesse Eisenberg play in the Christian Bale's Batman?
Oh, the Christian Bale Batman?
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg? He wasn't in that. He was Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman.
Well, then that's the crossover. That's okay. I'm not crazy. That was the same movie. Okay, the one where Maggie Gyllenhaal was it?
Yes, Batman v Superman.
Yes, that's it. Okay.
Another bad movie.
You almost
remember these bad movies.
You almost made me doubt myself because I was like, I know I'm seeing
but he
Christian
lives in
Bale.
Metropolis.
So it is the same universe.
No, this is not that universe. This is a different universe.
Metropolis? How the fuck is it a different? So you're saying Batman vs Superman?
That
is like
Batman was
universe.
Ben Affleck. Do you remember that? Not Robert Pattinson.
No, that Batman was Christian Bale.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that was Ben Affleck.
It was Ben Affleck.
So it's Christian. So okay, sorry.
That's a different universe.
Is it? So is the idea of so pre-multiverse? Is the idea? I thought the idea was it's kind of like 007. It's like it's the same guy. We're just seeing it over and over.
No,
but you're saying all the Batmans have multiverse.
Yes.
I don't think DC was hip to multiverse. I think they were just giving us different Batmans.
DC had the multiverse before Marvel. Yes.
You're lying.
No, in the comic books, they call them DC. They call them. There was a big story, not to be sidetracked, but in 1985 or around that time, it was called Crisis on Infinite Earths, And they did that because they'd had these multiverse stories in the 70s. This is in the comic books. And it was getting all confusing, right? They had like these different words. They had Jay Garrick Flash and Barry Allen Flash and like old Superman, the Earth 2 Superman, the Earth 3 Crime Syndicate, which is like all the superheroes, but they're bad guys on Earth 3. They had all this stuff. It was very confusing. And so in 1985, they were like, listen, this shit is way too confusing. So we're going to do this big crossover story called Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is basically like they had this bad guy called the Anti-Monitor who was going and destroying Earths. And he's destroying all the different Earths. And they basically used that story to make it one Earth. So they took all the characters that they liked from the different Earths and made them so that they all exist on one Earth.
And you told me that MCU is going to do that eventually, right? That's the next phase.
Well, Marvel has their own version of that called Secret Wars, which is what
coming.
That's what the first Avengers movie is Doom War, right? With Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. And then next Avenger movie after that is Secret Wars.
Oh, so we won't. So, oh my God. You know what makes me so sad?
What?
I hope we're around when that movie comes out.
We'll be around.
Okay. I might be in another country, though.
You'll be here. You'll be fine.
I'll be in another country.
You gotta learn a language first.
Yo hablo español.
No, you don't know.
Soy afro-latina cuando quiero.
No. And then
okay, don't doubt me, baby. I'll learn French.
And then they go to the hangar. Oh no, they go back to Gigante's residence. And Sophia takes off all Carmine's shit, throws it on the floor. She gets a call from Zao. He's like, we got Oz. Want me to bring him to the house? And he's like, nah, meet me at the hangar. Then she burns down her fucking house.
Because
like a crazy person.
She's like, no, not like her. No, this is when I felt her. This is when I felt her the most. So she doesn't just burn down the house. She goes and gets all her daddy's shit out the closet. Like, you know, when someone dies and you kind of leave a memorial to them. She's like, great, I've been saving it for such a time as this. She puts all his shit, whatever watch that has a memory link to it. She takes his cigarettes, like 3 cigarettes, and throws it and gets this like amazing waiting to exhale moment where
that's what I was about to say.
Up.
There's a waiting to exhale moment.
That's what my friend picked up on too. So she gets all that going, and then she like burns a family portrait. Like she said you can have the business and the house, but she's like, I didn't say I was going to give you the house in the same condition, because in her mind, like, she's only leaving because she's putting all this shit behind her. She's putting Hangman behind her, Carmine, the Falcone, all that shit behind her. She's even pulling the Gigante shit behind her. She's like, all my men are dead. I'm not even about to squat up again and respawn. Let's just go. And so it's like, in a way, and I don't know that this is not like the moral of the story at all, but like, had she let go of what Oz did and moved on, she'd be gone. She'd be gone. She'd be living her life. But it's like, because she wanted to just like teach him a lesson. And I think at some point you got to be like, all right, this motherfucker keeps getting away. And so it's like, if he's going to keep getting away, I might just have to catch him when he's 80 and he's on a walker, and I'm going to put a banana peel, and that's how he's going to meet his demise. Because at some point you got to let it go. Because you had him tied up, I don't know how to hog tie people. You had him hog tied, and he broke out of that chair and saved his mom. Are you joking? He shot everybody in the room. Are you joking? Leave him alone. He's fueled by it. There's something else behind this. This man does not have full functional use of his leg and broke out of that chair and ran out of there with his mom on his shoulder. Leave that nigga alone. Let him breathe.
She gets to the hangar and she says thanks to Zao. But Oz is looking at her mad sinister, and she picks up on it and she realizes she's oh fuck.
Oh yeah, no, he's looking like he's basically like got him.
And then they kill Zao, kill Zao's men that aren't in on it, kill Sophia's men. Okay. It's just like, you're fucked.
Okay, can I tell this next part? This is my favorite part.
Yeah.
So this is the part that like we definitely did not see coming, because I think we talked last episode about, okay, we talked about this season, how it needs to tie into the Batman or the Batman 2 some kind of way. Like we already know this is the Batman 2022's Penguin, but like still. And then we thought like, okay, some people are gonna die, some people are gonna make it, but like obviously Oz can't die because unless like they're gonna bring up a whole new villain, whatever the fuck. That was what we were thinking. I did not see this like revolution of the slaves like Khaleesi freeing the Dothraki. Is that right?
Dothraki.
Yeah, that's what we get. So we're getting all these tropes. So basically, Oz is like, let's get in the core. Let's take a ride. And so that's the best I could do. Was that a better? Same.
It's just as bad as it always is.
Same as always. Okay. So they're riding, and he's like, first of all, this is a nice, like, wrap this story on up. He's driving her, and he's like, oh, just like old times. But her ass, that child lock is on. Okay, she's not getting out that car, and he's basically just like, look, bitch, you played around too much, and I would have thought you would have anticipated that, like, people are tired of status quo. And so what he generated with that Bud Light talk was like, hey, aren't y'all tired of like this old pecking order that not only will you never be number one, you'll never be number one within your like mid-level organization. And so basically they show a montage of all of the second in commands killing their first in commands, like the lieutenants basically killing the whatever capo, head of them out. Basically it's you never even explained it. It's like Christopher killing Tony Soprano. That's what you see across all of the families. And so he's basically given this monologue that's very good, where he's just talking about how like people are tired of being treated like less than, and at some point they will rise up against that. He's like, I thought you would be able to anticipate that. Like, I thought you at least would have that understanding because of how Carmine did you. And she's like, it's not that I don't, it's just like she's playing a different game. But like I don't know, did you see this coming at all? Like this idea that like all of Gotham would be new. It's gonna be the same, right? Because people are inherently the same, but it's like everybody across all the crews was like, you know what, I'm not fucking with, you know what I mean, I'm not fucking with this. Like, let's go in a new direction. / I'm killing the head, and I'm gonna pretend like
one of them's even a black woman. Did you see that? She gonna be in charge.
Yeah, it was a black crew. I don't remember the black crew, but yeah. So
it was a black dude. He was the one that got out the car and was like, the drugs is not, like, we here for the drugs, not the penguin.
Oh, yeah. And then he got shot.
But the black woman took over. So, yeah.
But what did you think about this whole transition of power?
I thought it was a good way to show that there's a new people in town that's going to be running shit. And I think this on second viewing, it was a very good foreshadowing of what is going to happen with Vic later on. So then right after that, they get to their destination, is by the river. They walk into the edge. She says, you know what, Oz, you was right. I didn't see you back in the day, but your mama saw you. She saw you from the beginning. She knew you was a monster. And Oz says, you sick psycho bitch. You won't ever find peace. A sick fuck like you going to hell. I was like, this man. But you know, it was interesting. I think I saw someone say this on Twitter. They referred to hell 3 times in this show. I mean, they referred to Arkham as hell 3 times on this show. And so when I said you're going to hell, he was meaning you're going to Arkham, but he was just saying that to her. But you didn't get that when you was watching it the first time. And then he turn around.
But there was also a real moment of projection there, because like if you also take that literally, he's telling that to himself, like, because the level of disgust he has for her is completely unwarranted. There's nobody in this story who has done more justifiable things than her. Like no murder that she did was truly like crazy, except for like she did leave Isabella or Gia or whatever her name is in the damn in the orphanage. But yeah, like him calling her a sick fuck is crazy. Like that would have been it for me, where I would have been like, all right, you gotta kill me face to face, because how are you talking to me like this? Like, are you for real? But she is like, she's avenged her brother. She tried. She's stepped out of her father's shadow. She's honored her mother. She killed all the people who hurt her. She's tried to kill Oz, basically, like honestly should have killed him already. So when he's like, oh, turn around, I'm gonna execute you, she's like, you know what, I'm at peace. And like, so she gives herself this moment of like, yep, that she just like really is letting go. She's like, this is the end of my story. And then
the police show up, and it's much worse. I said, when this happened, I said, this is so dark. This is so much worse than her dying. Like, it's so bad.
I said the same thing, but I think that's because that's how good this show is. Like, the characterization is like, you fully understand her getting institutionalized again is a million times worse than her just letting go and just being like, all right, I'm gonna go see my brother. So yeah, like that was dark as fuck, like trapping her in the system again. But I do think that like it does give her a chance to like become to show up as a different animal in the future. Cause like she's getting out of Arkham again. You know, they be releasing non-offenders. You know what I mean? She's getting out for good behavior.
Well, she might break out. There might be a breakout in the next Batman movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we know. Yeah, like.
So then they cut to the hospital. Oz is back celebrating. Ma, look what I did. I got champagne. Look at look at this shit, Ma. Look at that bullshit he's saying. I set that shit up.
And last time she saw him, she said, "You're the devil. I hate you. I know you killed your brothers. I'm not fucking with you." And he was like, "Oh, but like again, his ends justify the means." And at this point, I think his mother's just a figurehead for whatever bullshit he was gonna do anyway. But he's just like, "Mom, like this should make up for it, right? Like, yeah, I killed your sons, but I'm on top 57 years later. It matters, right?
I'm giving you what I promised."
And mind you, like that was like not what she asked for. Like she didn't say do this for me. He was like, he made that argument for himself. But okay, fair enough.
She's not moving. She tells Vic to go get a doctor. Doctor comes in, basically like she had a real bad stroke.
Okay, first of all, a doctor does not come in.
Or a nurse. Yeah, a nurse comes in, says she's in a real bad stroke.
Candy Striper comes in. Somebody with no qualifications comes in like, hey, okay, what I want to tell you is like having somebody who's not seen any of this show watch a finale is so funny because they can really point out stuff that she was like, what hospital is this? Like they were like, sir, we've been trying to reach you. And I was like, oh yeah, he definitely don't have no phone. Like there's nowhere they would have reached him. Secondly though, like they just if you listen back, there's nothing beeping. There's no heart rate monitor. There's no nothing. I was just like, this is actually so ghetto. Like, you can't just leave this lady sitting like this until her people come back. I don't think that's how it works.
They said she's in a vegetative state. And then Oz starts begging to her, like, wake up, Ma, wake up, Ma. Like, tell me you're proud of me. Tell me you love me. I did this all for you. Like, tell me you're happy. And he just breaks down. This was like this was tough because in his mind, he's like, this is what all this was for. And now you don't even get to see it.
But I think that's kind of the point of a sociopath is that like there's always going to be something that this was all for, but like it's never worth anything. And I can't lie, like weirdly, this is the time when I was like, Colin's acting is not doing anything for me right now.
Oh no, it got me. And Vic came over, put his hand on his shoulder. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was scared he was gonna lash out at Vic because you know how he be. But yeah, so he is the other selfish thing, and again, I'm like putting all this into a lens for Oz now because it's like what we know about him. But it's so selfish of him to be like his mother's dying or she's losing consciousness or whatever a stroke leading to a vegetative state is, and he's like, I just want to hear good last words from you instead of like actually missing her. So it really is about like what she's doing for him and how she makes him feel and this object he's turned her into, and not so much like that he actually is sad that this woman whose life has been devoted so much to who knows what to him, I guess, is ending.
Then we get Vic and Oz having a drink, and Oz is like, this don't really feel like no win to me, buddy. And Vic's like, you won though. And she was like, Oz is like, I did everything I did for Francis. Like, that's why I did all this shit. Do you think, and Vic's like, yeah, she knows that. Like, she knows. Because he don't know what happened between them. And Oz is like, you think she forgives me? And Vic's like, for what? Like, what'd you do? And Oz is like, all kinds of things. Like, none of this came easy. He can't stop thinking about his brothers. Yeah. What kind of men they would be. What they would think of him now, which I think that is the truth. Like, what would his brothers think of him doing this shit if they could? He tells Vic it was smart to bring Lincoln, and you were right about that, and that was a good play. You did good. And then we get this scene.
Thanks.
Okay.
And thanks for taking a chance
Hey,
on
can you
me.
pause it?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, because I don't know what the fuck. I was literally looking up Edible Complex and it knocked me out. Say the thing you were saying before you went to the video. You don't even remember.
I said a lot. Which part?
I just, or like just the, okay, because like this is major. So like before this part of the episode, what are you thinking?
What I was thinking is Vic about to die.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that he can't he can't have anyone close to him, and he cares about
So
Vic.
based on Oz. Okay.
Yeah, based on Oz. Oz has become close to Vic, like a little brother to him or son. And Oz knows that his mama was already thing someone could kidnap and hold over him, and make him almost lose everything. And so it was logical for him in his mind, not in real life, but in his mind, that I can't have anything that I'm tied to. And this is the last thing that I'm emotionally tied to.
I agree. I think it's that, but I also think it's like I can't not think that it's some form of, but my mother found out the truth about me. She hated me. I'd rather you die than know the truth about me. Or like there's something about like you just can't, like it's not even just being vulnerable to like these other people. It's like he does not, his secret will die with him kind of thing.
Yeah, well, even more than that, he also saw all the other deputies rise up against their head person.
Right.
And
And
so
he encouraged
through his
it,
plan,
but he does not.
and
Yeah,
he
but in his
obviously
mind, he's the Rex color bracelet bitch.
yeah, but he also doesn't want Vic to do that to him.
Right. And honestly, the thing is, like, there's a way to avoid it, but Oz is not going to do that.
For taking me in. You're like, you're
It's too
family
fucking
to me,
sad.
you know? Fuck.
Fuck, Vic. You and me. That's all that's left.
See, you and me is all that's left. Like all that's left I have to take care of. All that's left that's tying me down. That's holding me to this person that I was and not the person I can be.
I don't believe in kismet or nothing. But it's good that we met. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, you see me at my lowest, all this shit with my mom. You've been there. By my side every fucking step. Listen, kid. I can't bring you with me this time.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's the thing about family.
Oz?
It's your strength. Oz, it drives you. Fuck if it don't make you weak, too.
Oz.
And I can't have that no more.
Oz.
I can't have that shit. I can't.
Please. Oz. Oz. Oz.
It's too much.
Please.
Too fucking much.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You're a good man, Vic. You got a good heart. It wasn't for nothing.
And then he opens up his
Bruh.
wallet, takes the money that he paid him,
No.
and then throws his driver's license into the river so he can't be identified.
Also, if you remember, the license was what he took from him in the pilot when he found him, and he was like, "I'm gonna find everyone you love." Like, and so he does ultimately like kill him. Like, he stole his license and told him like he would come after him. He does find everyone he loves, which is just Oz. Kills him, and then basically throws him into the water again. It's like, it's so, there's no redeeming Oz right now, because he's literally perpetuating all the shit that he tries to act like he wants Gotham to be like held accountable for doing. And he's honestly a great example of like people who say that they want change, but what they really just want is their own chance to be like the way that they think everybody, to be the person that's oppressing.
That's why he's a villain. That's the difference. That's why he's a villain. And so then they cut to Arkham, and Julian's ass is back working at Arkham. I was like, "Are you just
And
back
that's
there?"
Leave of absence? Where the fuck was this? This nigga was gone for 3 months.
You Sophia's personal doctor? She's
I don't
fucked
know
up
what the
real
fuck's
bad.
going on here.
But he comes in, he's
Yeah.
reading all this bullshit. She's ignoring him. She's like, "You also got a letter from someone claiming to be your half sister, Selena Kyle. Wants to talk to you about your daddy." And then she perks up, starts reading the letter, and starts getting like some energy back. So I think we might see something with Zoe, Selena Kyle, and Sophia in the future. And then they cut to Oz's new crib.
Zoe Kravitz and as Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were saying. Also, did you heard the news, right?
What news?
Her and Channing broke up.
I don't care.
You do care because now it's my chance.
You don't got a chance. I'm sorry. So, you ain't got that chance. It's okay though. You'll find someone better.
We really need to. That's the clip. Write down this timestamp. Whatever the fuck time it is that's the clip. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Then you see Oz's new crib. He got a whole penthouse finally.
Kinda. Barely.
Well, it's being renovated. And he goes in, his mama's in there. He got her looking out the windows like, "I told you I'd have you in the tall building looking at the whole city. Like I told you."
It's literally giving Norman Bates. It's giving Bates Motel. It's giving Psycho, because why the fuck is she in there just strapped to the thing? Like she's taken care of, but like she's literally being held against her will, because like she cannot say no, and even if she did say cut me out, he wouldn't. And she asked him, oh my God, she asked him genuinely. She said, "I do not ever want to be a vegetable. I don't ever want to be a shell of myself. Kill me if you need to." And he promised. And this motherfucker has killed everybody he's ever met, but he won't kill her.
Yeah, he's a villain. And then you see him. Oh, by the way, I was right. He's dressed as Burgess Meredith's Penguin from the 60s Batman. Whole get up, including the top hat and the cigarette holder. And he goes into the other room, and there's Eve's ass. And she's dressed like his mama.
It's about dress, hair, everything. It was like, ew. And so again, this is very much Oedipal, very much giving like this idea that so like the Freudian theory, as far as I can remember it, is that a child has feelings for the person of the opposite sex until, or I don't know if like if this child is gay, like if it's going to be different, like if it's the same thing anyway, but like feelings for opposite sex and the jealousy for the same sex person that is like, so if you're a son, if you're like a cis boy son, then you're you have feelings for your mother, and then you're jealous of your dad and you don't want him around her. But then over time you develop, and then that grows, and then you're able to have like, you see the person as a role model or someone you look up to, no longer like you don't want that role. And so I don't know about, I can't tell you Freud is right or wrong, but what I do know is like some people have a theory that when you have a certain trauma, you might stop developing around something unless you like face it and deal with it. And so I feel like there's like a pop psychology we can make here about like him being this way because like he never grew out of that phase, and therefore like his mom in that dress is like for him one of the most special nights ever, and he never even realized like that's when he almost met his maker.
And he tells Eve to like tell him that he's proud of her and that he did it, he finally made it. And he's calling her mama, and they're dancing to the old school music. And then they
Weird as
pan
fuck.
outside and you see the bat signal. And then that's the end of the series. So no,
So
what'd you think of this series?
yeah, it's a lot. I can't really handle it. I can't really handle it. It was a lot. I'm excited. I mean, I'm pissed that I have to wait 2 years for Batman 2. I don't even know what to do with myself. Hopefully they hurry it up. I think that Zoe Kravitz did okay, as she did pretty good as Catwoman. So I think, to be honest with you, I got to watch it all again because I don't remember anything. But then on the top of the building at the end of the movie, like my memory, because now I'm just like, is it which one is his Which one is his? What's the name of the cop? Sorry, I need you to help me with this. The cop's name, the main cop that talks to Batman.
Jim Gordon.
Gordon. Okay, is his Gordon Allen Gary Oldman, or is it the black? Is it
Jeffrey Wright?
Jeffrey Wright, and you know what's crazy about Jeffrey Wright? The reason why I couldn't tell you Jeffrey Wright, who's American Fiction, all the awards. The reason why I couldn't tell you is because I was trying to remember what was Alfred his name in Westworld. That's how ADHD my brain is. If I can't tell you what he played in something else, I can't tell you his actual name. Anyway, I was just trying to remember which one's his Jim Gordon.
Jeffrey Wright.
Okay, great.
You just asked me that.
Wait, hold on.
What do you hold on for what?
Okay, keep going. I have to fix my mic or fix my headphones.
Oh. But no, that's the end of the series. I thought it was a fantastic show. I usually don't like shows that are based in the universe of a superhero, but the superhero's not in it. But this was done very, very well. They've already talked about doing other miniseries based in this Batman in the Batman universe once they introduce more characters. So
I think you should be careful about that. I mean, I think we obviously want to see more, but like, do you think it's good to lean only into the Batman franchise?
Well, it's okay. They have a DC universe. It's called the DCU. There's going to be a Batman there. They haven't been cast yet, but that's going to be the universe where all the heroes are there. So like the first movie.
So it's not. So you're saying not Gotham stories is going to be like they're going to build out their DCU is what you're saying?
No. So there's a DCU.
Okay.
The first movie in the DCU is James Gunn's Superman, which comes out in January, I think.
So just Suicide Squad is just not even.
None of that stuff exists anymore. They're getting rid of all of that. All the Zack Snyder bullshit. He's basically starting over. James Gunn is starting over the universe. Okay. Mm-hmm. The first movie is Superman. They're going to have a
new one. They got rid of Henry Cavill, and they're getting rid of finding a new one.
It's got a new universe. That is going to be a connected universe, like the MCU, like the Marvel universe. So they're going to have a Superman and Supergirl and Green Lantern and Batman. They're going to have a Batman too.
Green Lantern, hopefully.
And the Batman, well, the Green Lantern, they're having all three Green Lanterns. They're having a TV show on HBO Max called Lanterns. It's supposed to be like True Detective meets Green Lantern. But they're going to cast a Batman who's going to actually have a Robin, and that's going to be the Batman in that universe, right? That's all one universe. This Matt Reeves universe is separate. And in the Matt Reeves universe is only Batman. None of the other characters exist in this universe. It's just Batman and his people and his version of the people. So we've seen the Riddler who died in the movie. We've seen Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. We've seen Penguin, right? Colin Farrell. And we saw the Joker, although we don't know who he is. He was in prison in the Batman. So we've seen those four characters, and they're going to be building out more, obviously, as we go. So Matt Reeves was saying that they plan on doing character-based series in the vein of the Penguin with some of the other characters in the universe at some point.
Okay, so thank you for that explanation. I have two things. One is a question. How the fuck would somebody know all this? Like that like are they gonna tell you, hey, we're restarting, or you just have to go find out like, oh, this is now
Well,
James
Gunn did a big thing on that, and that's what's confusing to the people, which is kind of messed up. Like Marvel gets blamed for Sony movies because all the Sony movies are terrible. Venom, Mobius, they have nothing to do with the MCU. They're separate. Sony bought the rights to Spider-Man years ago when Marvel was about to go bankrupt, and they never gave them back. So Sony gets to make Spider-Man movies. And so people think, oh, that's a Marvel movie, but it's not. It has nothing to do with Iron Man and Captain America and Captain Marvel and all that stuff. So you wouldn't know unless somebody told you. But you can kind of tell with this because the tone of the movies is so much different, right? Like those are going to feel more like traditional superhero movies, and the Batman and the Penguin obviously feel like something different, right? And so when you watch them,
there's something good. So it sounds like a silver lining is that no more Flash. Like there's a new Flash, right?
They haven't cast them, but they will be a new Flash.
Okay, because this whole Justice League is thrown out because there's some problematic people in there. Okay, so then my thought was just like when we were talking through the season, I was like, oh, this is exciting. I love this show. But the truth is that I think I'm not sure that like the only universe I want to see expanded is Batman's is all I'm saying. So it's like, it's the same way that like what Disney has taken on to do with MCU is like anybody and their mom can get a spinoff. And like,
they're still doing that, but they're just in separate universes, right? So the Green Lanterns, that's part of the James Gunn universe. That's an HBO Max show. If you watch the preview before this show came on, they showed like an animated show with like DC people. That's called Creature Commandos. That's part of the DCU universe.
Yeah, it's like a Suicide
Viola
Squad
Davis Viola Davis is getting her own show on HBO Max called Waller. That's like a spinoff of Peacemaker, which is in the Peacemaker. Another one is the DCU. So that's all part of James Gunn's universe.
I know this. I know. I got it.
So Batman's not the only one getting one spinoffs.
Some of what you're saying is completely new, and some of it is like nerd-splaining. But most of what you're saying is new, so I will accept your explanations. And say
well, you did say you don't want to see that Batman's the only one getting spinoffs, but he's not. All of those are spinoffs.
I didn't know about any of this. I can't lie, but thank you. So
you're not happy about Viola Davis getting the show?
I don't know. I feel so overwhelmed by this show. Like this show is so crazy. There was so much that happened. I feel like a lot more than I feel like more happened in this. This is going to sound crazy.
No, do not say that.
Hold on, let me finish. Then what am I about to say?
You better not say more happened in this than industry.
No.
Okay.
I was actually going to say a crazy show. I feel like more happened in this than Game of Thrones. Like I don't feel emotionally. I feel like I guess maybe like this felt so much more real in a weird way to me. Like it felt like, it was a very grounded show, and they didn't use any magic or whatever the fuck. So I just feel like those are the kind of reasons why it's like, okay, wow, this show really like was a lot. Like we saw brown people float away in the river. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot. And so I think like this show, it dealt with issues of like women and like institutionalization and like in its own way. And so I've enjoyed it, but it also like was a lot of like a heavier show. But also it's kind of like if you go back and watch Sopranos as a comedy, it really is enjoyable, but there's going to be moments that bring you down. This is like very much a drama that like will make you'll laugh at the stuff that he says, but there's no confusing this for comedy. And yeah, exactly. So I think maybe that's it. But I mean, obviously I loved it. I'm glad we got to watch it. I'm hoping that our audience continues with us to the next shows. I do want to say before I forget, because I forgot to bring it up in the beginning because I was having issues. Remember I told you I was watching that show on Apple TV, Disclaimer? Nigga. Okay, so it really does, like, it's a show you have to watch to the end. Like, it's weird, but by the end of it, you're like, okay, whatever. Like, you forgive everything.
Watch it to the end? Are you a quitter of shows? Is that who you are?
Yes.
That's your personality?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you watch up to episode 5 and you're like, got it. nailed it. I understand what this show is. I can come back to it later. But then like you start to get an inkling like, oh, maybe there's more here. And so it's only 7 episodes, but I guess like it's a show that it's not a show that has like twists that like, oh, you're like, oh, I wish I'd seen that. It's just like it takes you down one path and then it just asks you if you're sure that's the path you want to go down. And so like that's around episode 5. So anyway, it was like somebody, when we talked about it before, somebody in the chat had said, I feel like it was Byron, but I could be wrong. I forget who. I feel bad, but it's somebody who we always talk to in the chat. And if I can't remember Jeffrey Wright's name, just know that I love you and I want you to come back every week and I will remember your name next week and say sorry. But one of our loyal, faithful listeners in the chat was saying like, watch to the end. And then when I did watch it, and I was like, I get it. So like the show ends completely differently than most of it proceeds, and I still need to finish Slow Horses, but I haven't finished yet because I do hate finishing shows because I love them so much. And we're gonna start Dune soon, and we're starting Dune this week. It's at least my personal watching. Silo comes out this Sunday?
Friday.
This Friday? Okay, yeah.
Fridays.
Okay, yeah, I'll text you offline. So, because I'm traveling, but we are excited because there's new shows to watch and new things to do. And RIP Vic, he was a real one, real as shit.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with Silo, my favorite show that I cannot wait for. I'm literally bursting at the seams to watch. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Peace.
Go like and subscribe to us on YouTube at We Was Watching. And send us an email at wewasdragonspod@gmail.com. And also follow us on Twitter at We Was Watching. Thank you all for following us on The Penguin. Hopefully you'll come with us on Silo. I expect to get some new listeners on Silo. So new listeners who come back and listen to this, keep listening to Silo. And